It's early October and I'm sitting in Jan Lundgren's apartment in Stockholm. The autumn leaves are falling and we're discussing no fewer than 9 trio albums that Jan did for the Japanese label Marshmallow Records, which were released between 2002 and 2011. And these albums have been out of print for a long time, haven't they? A very long time. So Fog Arts is in the process of reissuing all 9 of them. The first 2 were released on the 6th of August, and the final 3 will be released on the 10th of December. So tell me how the relationship with Marshmallow came about, if you can remember that far back.
Yeah, I can still remember that. So no, it was the key guy in this was Jesper Lundgren,
Okay.
Danish bass player.
Yeah.
He is not only one of the finest bass players in the world, but he's like a key guy when it comes to a lot of connections, because he has, done so many things with so many musicians and producers around. He has been recorded so many times, I would probably say closer to 1,000 recordings.
Really?
That
Yeah.
he, or maybe more, he's up there. So one day he called me up. This is like the year of 2099 or something.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, there's this guy. I've been recording a few albums for him. His name is Mitsuo Yofu. He lives in Yokohama in Japan, and I did some recordings with him, Duke Jordan and Chet Baker also.
Okay.
And well, I'm definitely sure about the Chet Baker recording they did, and I think he did also Duke Jordan. Anyway, so Jofu had asked Lundgren about me. He knew about me,
Right.
And asked if it would be possible to do a recording with Jesper and me and some drummer. Some drummer turned out to be Alex Reed,
Yeah,
of
some
course.
drums, he's just some drummer.
Yeah, he's also in the top position of legendary European drummers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I said, of course, and
Yeah.
I would love to do that, and
Okay.
that was the start of it. It
Okay,
was a very
yeah.
successful run of records. I think
Yeah.
it was.
And of these 9 albums that are being reissued, I think seven of the 9 were recorded in Sun Studio in Copenhagen.
That's true.
That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, which I think at the time was, not only that, the 2 Danes, they lived in Copenhagen, the studio was there, and I was living at the time in Malmö.
Yeah.
So or in Ystad later, but we're very close to Copenhagen. So, and Sound Studio at the time, one of the finest studios anywhere in the world. So it was very good luck.
Yes. No, perfect.
However, the first one was done at the studio outside of Copenhagen, run by another jazz drummer, Åge Tangård.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Also very good, but for sure, Sound Studio was one step up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it like to play? Had you played with Jesper and Alex before?
Of course,
Yeah.
they were my first recording I ever did.
My goodness, yes, I forgot. You completely
Conclusion,
forgot. Yeah,
which is
Conclusion,
a nice
yes.
name for a first recording, right?
yes, of course. So you had known them for quite a while.
Yeah, yeah.
And yet you then did in this series for Marshmallow, you made 8 recordings with Jesper on bass and Alex on drums.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hell of a series, isn't it? That's a lot of music.
Yes.
And I mean, what is it that kept you together throughout this period? I mean, why did you continue to make one record after another?
Just worked so good, and the tours we did in Japan also worked fantastically well. And
So
I
toured
guess,
in Japan with
yeah.
Alex? Okay, I didn't realise that.
And no.
Because one of these albums, I've forgotten which, Soft Summer Breeze was actually recorded in Japan, so I guess that must have been as part of a tour.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. And then the only sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, you know, it was two reasons for the continuation, you know, of this formation. Mainly, I mean, except that we had a great time, you know, personal feeling, blah blah blah. But I think the musical side of it worked very very well. You know, I was the kid.
I was going to say, because they were significantly older than you, weren't they?
Yeah, Jesper a little bit more than 10 years older, and Alex about 25 years older. You know, so.
Yeah.
But still, you know, from my side, I was, you know, extremely impressed with these guys. Of course, musically speaking, also. But I think they like to play with me very much. And Jesper told me recently that these series of recordings were among his very favorite of all the things he has done so
really,
far.
that's very nice.
And that was a huge compliment for me to hear, you know.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And one of
but the other thing was the commercial success of the recordings also.
Okay.
That's what kept it really together, you know.
Yeah.
Because musically, that's one, the musical side of it is only one side.
Yeah.
If it doesn't sell, or if it doesn't, you know, there's no market for it, then you cannot do 8 recordings.
Yeah.
You cannot keep doing so many recordings like that, you know.
But they're very swinging albums, aren't they? In the sense that I think they're rather unlike what you've been doing in more recent years.
Yeah, you mean I don't swing anymore?
Yeah. You've forgotten how to swing, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But I wonder. Well, I mean, there are relatively few Jan Lundgren original songs, aren't there? So there are 2 or 3 or 4 originals. They're mostly standards. I just wonder how you picked the material.
Yeah, the material was picked by me and Mitsuyofu.
Okay, right.
Yeah, in collaboration. You know, he's the producer, and of course I knew already before I started to work with him, because I had done 2 albums for the Japs before.
Yeah.
A Touch of You and New York Calling.
Yeah.
So I knew the Japanese, you know, general liking.
The swing.
Yeah, and this, you know, so I had an idea, you know, and this of course was very close to my heart as well. You know, that's a big part of where I'm coming from, playing standards more or less, you know.
Yeah.
And as I see it, you know, we can talk about jazz standards or popular standards. That's 2 different things, but many regard it as one. But I don't. I say that the popular standard, that's songs that comes from musical shows, Broadway, movies, etc. They're composed by Jerome Kern, Gershwin, etc., etc. You know, non-jazz musicians. But the jazz standards, they're composed by Thelonious Monk,
Yes.
Wayne Shorter, Duke Ellington, by jazz musicians. So that was the main bulk, the main material came from these 2, you know.
Yeah, these 2 streams,
Streams, and then I always did some original songs also, a little bit.
Yeah.
But not so many on these albums, that's true.
No. And then the unusual album for me is that one of them was recorded in New York. It's called In New York.
Yeah.
With Peter Washington on bass, Kenny Washington on drums, not Kenny Washington the singer, and the Washingtons aren't brothers either. Everyone thinks they're brothers.
Not related, no.
They're not related at all. But that's. I wish there'd be more of those actually. But there's only one, and it was, as I say, it was done in New York. It has a very American feel. I mean, when you look back on that album, what do you think about it? In what way is it different to the ones you did with Jesper and Alex?
I love that one. It's one of my favorites as well, you know. And you know, I'm a huge fan of the way Peter Washington plays the bass also, you know. makes his walking fly. He's one of my all-time favorite bass players, you know. And of course, Kenny Washington was also a great drummer. No, it's different from the other ones.
I think it's different, yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily better or you know, but it has another vibe to it.
Yeah.
Because it's two other musicians.
Yeah. But as it says in your producer in the liner notes to Swinging Rendezvous felt that he admits that your work with Lundgren and Reel are a far superior fit. So that was it. No more Washington collaborations, unfortunately.
I mean, he was a very close friend to Jesper Lundgren also.
Yeah, okay.
So you offer, you know, and.
But why did you do that album in New York? Were you touring or something?
That was my idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that album cost a lot more money for Monsieur to make, you know.
Yes.
It was more costs involved going to New York, you know.
Yeah.
For him and me, and staying at a hotel there, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
To produce records with Jesper and Alex in Copenhagen meant spending much less money.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's, I think, the main reason. There's only one, but I think it's also true that Mitsu liked better the style of Alex and Jesper.
Yeah.
Combined with me. We have a little bit more of a communication style.
Yeah.
Way of playing together.
Yeah.
The ears are very open like that when we play. So I think there's more of that going on, you know, communication within the trio between Jesper, me, and Alex. We have a long history.
Yes.
And we know very much how we play, you know.
Yeah.
While on the other hand, like you know, with the Washingtons, they focus very much on the swing and the timing, and you know, and it's a new thing, you know, because Kenny Washington and I, we never played before, you know.
Yeah.
Peter and I, we had done 2 albums before.
Which two albums?
That was the New York Calling and A Touch of You.
Okay.
Yeah. But still, you know. So I think for that, the New York album in New York with the Washingtons, they were a team. They played on hundreds of literally very many albums before, you know.
Yes.
And so they were a team meeting a Swedish guy. And I, you know, that was that meeting. With Jesper, Alex and me, it's 3 guys that, you know, we speak together.
Yeah.
Communicate like that, you know,
Yeah.
3 ways.
I understand, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Both work very good, I think.
I mean, it's certainly, I mean, in New York is one of my favourites, and this the opening track, Negotiations,
Yeah.
which is one you wrote.
Yeah.
It's a terribly exciting song.
I remember
It's nice.
Ken Washington had
It's really
problems with that because
really.
I have there's a rhythm figure there that took a while for him to
Okay.
grasp.
But it's awfully exciting. I mean, I think it's one of my favourite Jan Lundgren songs. Well, good. It's very nice. It's very nice to hear your views on these things. And remember that by 10th of December, all of them will be out, all 9 of them. But I'm afraid only in streaming and downloading form.
So far.
So far, yes. That's because your one-man quest to fill my basement with CDs that nobody buys. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that. And they're available on all good streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer. You can even download them from iTunes and other downloading platforms, Amazon. So turn on your phone and
Go
find the
streaming.
tracks. Yeah, go streaming, and happy listening.
Thank you, Guy.